Today is that kind of day. Man, unblur. Focus on me. Whew, there we go. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Urbandrei, and today I'm not feeling too great because I kind of sliced. I'm not sure if I should show this on camera because it's kind of gnarly, but my my hand's kind of messed up. Like here, you can kind of see. I'll let you see it a little bit. You can kind of see where I sliced my hand open. It's deep. Like when you spread my fingers, you can see deep underneath my skin. It's not a pleasant thing. That's about as far as I will describe it. Because I'm not interested in making anybody feel uncomfortable with my injury. But hey, that's what happened. And I got some alcohol. And we're going to drink it while coding. Because that is a healthy way to deal with... Honestly, I'm not even sure what's the more addictive part. Not that I'm addicted to alcohol, but... I mean, just generally, I feel like... coding can be an addiction. Anyways, I don't know. I'm just like spitballing here. Let's get chat up. Let's get some bots working. Honestly, wait, I don't have the bot running. I just realized. Let's run the server. And let's connect the server to the bot. Okay, it's connected, and now, theoretically speaking, it should, yeah, people should be able to start joining, maybe. Might have to reload this thingamabob. If I switch... There we go. But yeah. Here come the bots. The bots are here. And we're going to get the YouTube up. So today, okay, let's walk over what I want to do today. Rhyme, do you hear the flibbity gibby gabber with I know I gotta get out of... What? 1 second, I'm getting the YouTube chat up. So today, okay, let's walk over what... Do you hear the flibbity gibby gabber with I know I gotta get out? Is that a song or a meme or something? I'm not sure what's going on. But yeah, so the plan for today. The plan for today is we're going to build OAuth 2 for YouTube. We're going to make... Yeah, no, the thing is, Streamlabs, this side is on the Streamlabs, is only for Twitch for some reason, because it hates YouTube. I have YouTube chat up separately here. But hello, Sorty, welcome back to stream. But yeah, so let's drink and code HTTP commands and let's do this. Okay, so the plan is, first of all, let's get YouTube connected. I guess I probably can. Well, should I say where I'm working exactly? I'm working in a hardware store. I think that's about as specific as I'll get about that for the time being. And the issue is when you work in a hardware store and you're clumsy like me, sharp things are in unexpected places, and sharp things cut really deep before you know they're cutting really deep. And that's kind of what happened to me. But you know, it is what it is. But also, let's get the... Does this work? Ah, it works. No, I'm not. I don't work at Micro Center anymore, and that was a long time ago. Nor, uh, nor do I think they'll let me go back, because when I left Micro Center, I left without a 2-week notice. Like I just like dropped Micro Center. I ran out of Micro Center. So I don't think they're gonna hire me again. And also, like, whenever I go there, everyone who works there is like they don't think it's a good idea for me to work there. Like all my old buddies, and also most of my old coworkers left. It's not really the same place anymore. So I'm not super tied or not super upset about no longer being there. Can I make duplicate? Can I not open a power? 1 second. Is that sensitive? No, there's nothing sensitive about that. But okay, so first of all, I'm gonna let the server keep. I just realized probably should put avatars in here. So there's a couple of things I want to do to make all this work. And also I gotta get the stream thing working. Here we go. So, first of all, we gotta get OAuth 2 from YouTube. It should be a pretty similar thing like I did for the Twitch. And then we gotta make a command that calls in a similar way to the one I did for Twitch. And after I do both of those things, we should be able to just input the code in the same exact way as I did currently for the bots. These little guys down here. So that's what we're gonna start doing. And let's get this show on the road. I mean, there isn't really much more to it. I'm gonna talk about it while I'm doing it. I'm also gonna. I feel like one thing I've noticed is I feel like I have a better mood. I talk better when there's like a little bit of music on, just a little bit of music. I also don't have work tomorrow, so I probably can go on for a little bit longer tonight. But yeah, let's do this. So step number one, actually, let's. Yeah, I don't want to turn off the code. Can I just open up our instance separately and then drag the? Does it not let me? Wait, come on. Okay, that's nice. So right now we have a pretty messy project. Actually, a really messy project. Is the boss still running? The boss still running, good. Next up, we're gonna want to I don't know how YouTube OAuth works. I think that's the main issue. So let's do a bit of research before I truly dive into this. And I will let you guys read along with me. Dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go back. Okay. So I need Apparently there's a Google API client library, which I could use for this. If it would actually load. I don't know why it's acting up right now. That's weird. Why is it not? Can I just see the flow? Hmm. I guess we could just use the Google API for this. I'm not entirely opposed to using the Google API. So as far as I can tell, like what I'm looking for to kind of explain what's happening is I need to find I gotta find essentially an example link of what I'm supposed to send Google to get the initial code. Once I get that, I can just input that into my project as a very basic HTML file that's going to act as the initial request. After that, what we're going to do is we are going to create a code or create a fetch request that will then get us the token, which we can then use to make further requests from the server. I think this one's actually good. So with this one, I do need to actually make a I think I have a developer account with not YouTube, with YouTube. What am I saying? With YouTube, with the Google thingbob. I can't show you guys this part because I'm making the keys. Also, I'm just gonna say this. I don't know why my little bot creatures have this tendency to group on the right side. I've noticed that. I like how the second I say anything about the little guys, they like leave the corner. Okay, so I need to, how do I do this? It says I need to create server-side web apps. Okay, so open the API library in the Google API console. Okay. And do I have... Okay. So I still got enable this API. Okay. I don't understand how... My experience with the Google stuff is kind of frustrating. I feel like also a lot of stuff I'm using for this is very... I kind of wish that this was closer to my experience with Twitch. My experience with each one of these applications is very, very different. Okay, so create credentials, OAuth client ID. I will say one thing that I would definitely want to do before I make any of this publicly available is I would really want to make sure that I pass this by someone with even a minimal knowledge of cybersecurity, because the way it is right now, I'm worried. I think justifiably so. Because I am kind of throwing secrets and stuff around. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, this is getting a little frustrating. I don't understand what Google wants from me exactly to make this work. Okay, so I have an API key. Okay, so I will say typing with my injured hand is kind of frustrating. Okay, so scopes. I need... Ay, ay, ay. Honestly, given how difficult YouTube is being right now to get this developing stuff done, maybe today I should cool it on the YouTube side. We have it working. We have a chatbot working. Why don't I just double down on Twitch for the time being, and we can introduce YouTube later when because I feel like I could spend the next 2, 3, 4 hours and just hammer out the YouTube and get everything looking nice and pretty and everything. But I feel like by then, everyone will just be like, Andre, why did you spend X amount of time for basically nothing? So let's do something a little bit different. Hello, Simon's Roblox gameplay. Welcome back. But don't worry, we'll get back to the YouTube shortly. Or at least try to make the YouTube work. I think for right now, let's actually grab my code from bots.html. So this is the code that is currently doing the hard work. I'm going to grab this. Grab all this code. We're going to copy it into Notepad. Just so I can work on this outside of the Vim system. Hello, Simon's Roblox gameplay. What was quick? I didn't even notice you jumped over to the Twitch chat. When I saw your messages, I was like, wait a moment. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna try to make this just a little bit. Should I? Okay, there's like several things I could focus on right now. So one thing I could do, theoretically, is I can pretty up this. So we can basically take the pixel guys and we can improve the sprites, build some CSS, and we can just iron out the entire that side of this project. The pretty side of that project. On the other side, we can start working on functionality. We can start ironing out how the bots behave, commands, etc. Maybe even add some game features. Plus, there's a bunch of stuff I want to change anyways with how the code is functioning. I need to look into why the bots are so... There has to be a probability imbalance as to why they're clumping towards the right. That's my only real explanation for why that behavior that we're seeing is happening. That is not normal. Like right now I'm just trying to like debate exactly how I want to make this all go down. I think we're not going to mess with the sprite for right now. I think that I'm kind of clearly not going to go for because I mean, the sprite isn't excellent right now. I can definitely see issues with it, but it also isn't like in a bad state. Like it clearly shows the behaviors you want to see. Walking forwards, backwards, etc. So how are we going to build? I don't know. You know what? I know exactly what we're going to do because I want to do something fun. I don't want to do something that's going to like take a lot of time. And even though this is not the responsible Andre right now is thinking to himself, you know, I have these pipelines, I have these projects. Let's knock out one of these pipelines. Let's get some features done. Let's get something that I can like. Let's get some deliverables. Let's get deliverable. Ow, my fucking Let's get some deliverables out of the way, and you know, so that I can keep moving forward with the project, and we can start testing out stuff and everything. That is what responsible Andre is thinking to himself. I'm gonna tie my fingers together because this is really painful. Irresponsible Andre. This is what irresponsible Andre is thinking. Irresponsible Andre is would like to make something that is instant results, instant satisfaction. I want to get, I want to show you guys something awesome quickly. And I think you guys would also like irresponsible Andre's perspective. I'm literally just tying my fingers together so I don't open up the wound. Plus, I just feel like it'd be more fun for you guys to be able to like play games built straight through a Twitch bot. I'm getting bored of myself, and I feel like if I'm getting bored of myself, you guys are definitely getting bored with me. So that is not okay. Also, I'm not tying my fingers right. I'm gonna get this out of the way because using the mouse is actually kind of painful right now, and typing is painful, and everything is painful. Yeah. Okay. Let's tie my fingers together and then let's make something fun. I'm thinking let's make a game. Let's start basic. Let's first make something that's like, I don't even know. Let's like mess around, make some kind of game. Okay, this should be more or less fine. Honestly, that's a lot more comfortable than it was before. Excuse me. So I'm going to keep my old code. Honestly, do we even need to make new code? We can just build the game from the ground up. Wait. in a separate HTML. So I am going to try to get chat. Let's get chat. Let's get it working. Timeout error. I think what happens is there's a thing, a keep alive message that I'm not responding to properly. Okay. I'll worry about that in a minute. Actually, we can worry about it right now. Because it's related. So we want to connect to the text chat. And I think we can actually use Twitch's code for this. So there's a WebSocket that we can use. We can just drag and drop all of this code and it should just work. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to first copy and paste everything from here into here. Not really happy about doing it this way. And we're going to take their message parser as well. Oh my god, this is such a long thing. I guess there's so many like individual portions of this. Let's save this for right now, and let's just add in the parts we need to add to make it work. We're going to want to install the... Man, there's so much we got to do, actually. So I need my channel and account numbers. So I'm going to get those real fast. It's so hard typing with injured fingers. But, you know, it is what it is. Okay, I'm in the area I need to get the stuff from. Where is my user ID? I can just find it again. It honestly isn't that big of a deal, but... Actually, theoretically speaking, I should be able to see it in my previous run code. Wait, is it just my name? I don't think it's just my name, right? There's no way. Okay, I think I found the stuff. Now let's just take away this message. We want to run this code when we get the token. Can I just do... No, well, I could, but I'm just not confident that's going to work the way I want it to work. What we're going to want to do is... Well, we're using WebSockets, so I'm going to first just drag this thing to the top. Actually, drag both of these things to the top. What am I saying? We'll name it better later when we have the YouTube and everything else. Okay, and with that being out of the way, and so I'll leave that in there, but the main issue is the password. And the password is used over here. I might just replace this. OAuth plus token. And that should be fine. After that, everything else is pretty standard. And then the only important thing is we run so actually I deleted this code, but I probably want to bring it back. We want to have the connection happen. And a control point. And we can always, we're going to change this later to actually be automatic. I'm doing a lot of stuff manually, I'd say. And it's mainly just working because I'm being crazy. I think someone who actually would look at my code right now and analyze it for efficiency would be like, this is not how you should be doing anything. And I'd agree. I generally do when people tell me stuff like that. I kind of want to... I will actually not do this. What I'll just do is I'll just do the connection. We'll mess around and do more crazy stuff later. I just want to see if this works. I did a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff which is questionable. I don't even know what their bot does. What does their bot do? I probably also need to npm, what is it? WebSocket, I think. What's the, no, npm I? Is it double dash? Whatever. npm install WebSocket. Why is it taking so long? Wait, what? Why is it complaining? You know what? I'm gonna just run it. Node server.js. npm install WebSocket. Okay. And now it should be running. And now let's just see if it does what I want it to do. Let's first get the token before anything else. Okay, we got a token. Now let's... Oh boy, okay. I think we have a chatbot working. Get Twitch chat up and let's mess around with it. Oh yeah, it's working. Fun stuff. Okay. We have progress. We have made progress and things are working. Okay, so now that we have this thing working, I'm actually going to remove my old... So like I said, I have a lot of junk code, spaghetti code, that has no right being here. Honestly, I'm just gonna get rid of the print statement so I can have better access to debugging. But honestly, I don't care. Hello, Lee the Memer Wolf. Welcome back to the stream. How's it going? I'm currently trying to figure out. I don't even know what I'm trying to figure out at this point. I want to create a game for you guys. Nice cider? Well, it's a seasonal cider. It's a wild berry alcoholic cider. How's the coding going? Well, we got some cool stuff working. You won't be able to access. Okay, so I was planning on doing stuff for YouTube, but that isn't happening, not yet. But I have some fun stuff for Twitch, finally. Actually, why don't we try this out? Let's. One second. I'm gonna figure out something real fast. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to let you guys control some random. I'll make a basic game and let you guys control the character. I think let's try to get that done. Let's try to get that done within an hour. That's how much time I'm going to give myself. So I think for right now, I'm going to just delete the get up and move command that they have initially set up. It's kind of a waste of space, honestly, in the software. It's good for like as an example piece of code. I appreciate them adding them in there, but I'll be using it later. I'm actually going to just remove all of these messages. Okay. And now what we're going to do. I'm not going to lie. I'm trying to power through this right now. It's really hard to be motivated to code when coding. I don't know. Like when you're like hurt like I am right now, it just doesn't... Motivation drains so quickly. Honestly, how about I take a small break and let's just chat. For those who missed the first hour of stream, so here's what we have done so far. Here's the deliverables we've made. We now have we have code in the project that allows me to read chat and see messages from you guys. So last stream we were able to get the users in the chat and send that to a web page, which we could then use to have you guys walk around and so on. That's what we did last stream. In this stream, we got messages. So I can do stuff like I could build in replies, build in commands, and hopefully soon build in games for you guys on Twitch. And hopefully after that, build in games for YouTube. I think YouTube is going to be more of a challenge just because of how they set up their API. It's going to be complete. I keep wishing, or I keep hoping that it'll be like something that I can kind of integrate with the Twitch stuff I'm building. But I think it's pretty clear it's not going to be the case. Try some pumping up music. That's what's happening right now. I'm actually listening to pump up music right now. I'm listening to rock. I just... I don't know. It's complicated. On the one hand, I'm really like, this is something I really enjoy doing. Like, game development is definitely something that like I genuinely enjoy doing. I wouldn't be doing it otherwise. It's very satisfying to me. But it's like artwork. Like, I could spend... I like drawing as well. I like creating stuff. There's another code. Yeah, we can do something else. Let's mess around with something else. Let's code something basic. Let's have... Let's actually do something much different than I do in previous streams. So in previous streams, what I've done before is I've done like a lot of platformers. That's something that's like a regular theme of the stream. But why don't we take in a different direction? Why don't we, instead of doing a platformer... Hello, Piplub, welcome back. How's it going? Instead of a platformer, let's mess around with a top-down game. That sounds like an interesting change of pace. That's good to hear, Piplub. I'm currently tying my fingers together so that I don't break open my wound. I'm tying it with shoelace. Fun times. Yeah, we're back to pure HTML. I sliced my hand open with a piece of sheet metal. It was pretty bad. Yeah, no, first day on the floor at work, and I managed to hurt myself pretty severely. Like, literally, hopefully this doesn't ick anybody out too much, but if you guys, one second, let me show you guys this. So if I were to if you feel like if this is your skin, this is like the top layer of your skin. There's like a deeper layer that's like darker. And the way how I know that is I can see this layer when I go like this with my hand, not this hand obviously, because that's why I tied my fingers together. But when I did this, I could see like deep within this layer of skin. And yeah. Not pleasant. It's also life. It hurts to code and do stuff, but alcohol doesn't help. But, you know, may as well attempt to drink the problem away. But yeah, no, like literally, here, let me see if I'm not gonna show you guys into the wound, but like I also put like liquid bandage over it, and I don't want to really like risk breaking it. Let me see if I can actually like clearly show you guys. Yeah, I'm not going to show you guys more than that, but I think it's relatively clear. Hello, Socksob. Welcome to stream. How's it going? But yeah, no, that is what I'm dealing with right now. But you know, you live and you learn. Yeah, no. I actually don't really drink at all. Okay, I feel like by now I've talked enough about it. May as well tell you guys a story about how I injured myself. So I was just putting away some product. I'm working in like a in a hardware store now, and there was like I put my hands down. So like I was putting away product, and I was like talking to another person at the same time, and I was asking like I think one of the products was like not fitting on the hook, so I was putting it down while talking to somebody saying, hey, this product is just laying here, Can't go in the hook. What do we do about it? And while I was laying it down, I didn't notice that the surface underneath the hook was like a stack of sheet metal, or like thin aluminum sheet metal. And when I put my hand down, my fingers went like around it because it was jutting out into the aisle, and it felt like wet. I put my hand down. I looked down, and my first reaction is, "Oh God, that's in my skin." And I kind of like threw my hand back. And I looked at it, and I was like, "It didn't start bleeding yet." Literally, I just looked at it, and I was like, "Oh, good, it's not bleeding." And I kind of opened my hand, and I saw how deep it was. I was like, "Oh God, that's horrifying." And on top of that, when I didn't have breakfast this morning, and when you have like a severe injury like that, and you have it like on an empty stomach, your stomach like churns, and it hurts your stomach. So like I was like sitting in the back, and the managers were like putting stuff. Oh, I didn't go to the hospital. No, I went to the back. The managers put some Band-Aids on it, put some antibiotics. I was back on the floor in like 20 minutes. I got a 20-minute lunch break, more or less. I'm not even going to go to the hospital because there's really no point. Like, I don't even know what they could do. I think, theoretically, the one thing they might be able to do is add a stitch. But, you know, it's like, I'm not even sure if a stitch would really help at this point. It's also like so small and it's such a weird spot. It's like an 8, like I think it's like between an 1/8 and a 1/4 inch deep, and it's like about a 1/3 of an inch long. It's not like a wide gash. It's more like it's again, it was a thin piece of sheet metal, so it was just like it's literally just like sliced into it. Like it doesn't really even open up unless I like flex my hand. Oh yeah, and I washed, I disinfected it, and now there's liquid bandage over it, so nothing's getting in it. And the liquid bandage also had like chloride and stuff in it as well, so. I don't think I'm in any danger, and if I am, I'll go to the hospital. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, in the very second, I'm worried that something might be wrong with my hand. I will rush to the hospital. 'Cause I'm still on my parents' insurance. I'm still young. I'm unfortunately still on my parents' insurance, so it won't cost me that much. I don't even think that will happen. I think the worst case scenario is that it's going to leave a scar. That's like the worst case scenario. And I'll have a funny story about my first day working at a hardware store. That's like it'll be a story to add on to my other stories. That's really the only thing that could theoretically happen in my opinion. I got an event here. So as usual, what we're doing right now is we're just doing my usual input-output code that I always do in these projects. Nothing new. Literally the same thing as always. So this time, the main difference between my previous projects and this one is we're doing a top-down game, so we're gonna have less physics and more just like what I'm imagining is like, what if we had like a game where I need to walk around and water like garden. Honestly, this is actually based on something I've been kind of thinking about for a while. Like I've been kind of debating doing a gardening game for Twitch, for our chat, like coding it. Because I mean, like we're already like 90% of the way there. It's just like building a simple game for you guys. The issue is, I'll wait for ad to finish first. I think ad will be over in like 20 seconds. Input dot index of event dot key. Okay, so I think the ad is over. Yeah, the ad is over. So like I literally had this idea based off of a TikToker who made a game that's like a an idle farming sim thing that is just on your screen, and you kind of like you don't really play it, but it kind of just stays there. And it's a really cool idea. I really like the idea, and I was thinking, well, that'd be really cool to have that, but like as a Twitch interactive chat thingamajig. And I was thinking about it for like months, or at least a month, maybe not months. I'm gonna say at least like 1 or 2 months. And then like not even like 2 or 3 days ago, I saw that the same exact creator is turning it into exactly that. So I'd feel kind of bad if I made the idea now that they're already working on their edition of it. I don't know. It's weird. I guess we'll cross that bridge when it comes, but may as well create a farming sim in for the fun of it, in lamentation about the loss of this other idea. I'll leave the body like that. Honestly, I should just make this code that I literally write this exact code. Like every single project I've done so far has done this exact code. Literally line for line. I think it's good because this is a good review. It's a good way for me to like if I've been out of the fold for even like a couple days, this is a great way for me to like get back into the fold. But it definitely like desktop farm.html. And as always, you guys might recognize this because this is how it always works. But we have my usual thing where we can see that I can type in stuff. Actually, this is wrong. That's hilarious, actually. I think I reversed it, actually. Yeah, no, I didn't reverse. That's amazing, though. I want to make a game that uses this, actually. That's a really cool little mechanic. I've never accidentally did this mistake of reversing the key down and key up, but that's fascinating. I also keep doing Vim commands. Okay, let's run this again. There we go. Now it's working right. Okay, and now let's make something really basic. Let's first start by defining some like a block dot block. And actually, we'll do the block class. In the block class, we're just gonna make sure that the width and the height are gonna be 10% of the shortest length. So width is gonna be min 10 view height, comma 10 view width. And we're gonna do the same exact thing for the height. And we're gonna do position, is it fixed? I'll just do this for right now. And what we're gonna do first is we're gonna add a character. Car equals document dot add. Oh god, I forget exactly how I used to do this. I gotta double check my previous code. Let's look at this code. How did I make thingamajigs? Thingamabobs. Create element, okay. Whoops. Oh god. Document dot create element block, and then we're going to do car dot style dot left is going to equal to we'll just do 0. And we'll do bottom as well, be 0. And we'll do background color to be black. And then we're going to take document dot body dot append child car. Let's make sure this actually is running properly. So let's just reload this. And it isn't running. I know why, actually. Don't even look at the code. I already know what is at least one possible cause of this. And what I'm doing is this code was constantly rewriting over whatever I did initially. So what am I trying to make? We're going to be making a very basic farming game, top-down farming game. Update. So let's try reloading this. Okay, now we still have a bug, so now we can actually go in here and see what's going on. Well, the body's here. Why don't I see the... Document.create element block. Oh. That'll probably fix it. Or at least get us somewhere closer. I wonder why it's doing this weird thing. Oh, I forgot to close the style. That'll explain a lot of things, actually. There we go. Got a little block, and now we can make it move around. So let's just add x equals 0, y equals 0, and then if input dot includes w, we're going to add y plus plus, and then just repeat this 4 times. Whoops. X minus minus S Y minus, ow. My hand still hurts so bad. I will say, I feel like this is something I shouldn't say, but me having an injured hand and having this like rope hanging on it, I think looks punk, but I also feel like that's probably just me being tired and thinking everything is cool. Plus X I was gonna say, damn, it looks cool even before you saying what it was. Well, I'm glad you like it, Lead the Memer Wolf. Oh yeah, no, it's definitely cope. 100% cope. Well, let's try running this and see what happens. Hey, we got motion. I can move him around. Now let's make him farm. Let's put him to work. Okay, so let's do something where crops are going to go up. Let's make a function called crops, and we're gonna make it empty, and then we're going to do a make crop function. Function make crop is going to be x equals math. No, we want to use the same variable name. I'm going to call it cx is going to equal to math dot random times 90. We'll do this twice. cy. And then we're going to do health is equal to 100. Honestly, why am I even going through so many steps? Let's make it simple. Crop is equal to this, comma this, position, health, and then we're going to have the copy this. Delete this. And then we're going to do, honestly, not even that. Let's make it even simpler. Why am I even putting so much effort into this? We'll just push this. Easy peasy. 3 lines of, honestly, with so few lines of code, I'm almost debating, like, is this even necessary? I'm probably going to just copy and paste this code somewhere later, because this is all you need to do to make this crop thing happen. What is the hex code for green? And I'm not going to ask that because I know what the, why would I even ask that? Literally, it's RGB. Red and green are in there. This should be called, yeah, I know. It should be called Andre takes a drink whenever he says something ridiculously dumb. Okay. So, okay. I don't understand how you can do this in Notepad. I mean, it's not that complicated, honestly. At least I don't think it is. Let's every update we're gonna do a probability check and see if we've got to add a new crop. And we'll do it like 0.01. I think 1% is probably, if math.random is less than this, we're going to spawn a new plant. Make crop. And then for every single crop, we're going to, this is a very interesting project just because I know I'm horrible at syntax. Well, you make mistakes and you fix them quickly. And like over time, you kind of get, especially like whenever I start a project, my syntax is always really off. But then you kind of like build muscle memory by the end of the project, whatever project you're working on. I mean, I still do dumb stuff in my code all the time. I wouldn't like let any of this dissuade you. Quite frankly, like Another thing that I'd say is don't overcomplicate things, and that includes doing stuff in like quote unquote more readable ways. Like if I had to make a decision between like a crazy looking if tree and like some interesting syntax that exists, I'd always go for like a crazy if tree, especially when I'm in my first run of the code. Because when you're first going through it, you want to be able to have something like something that works. You want a minimal viable product. You can always refactor your code in a neater way later. I probably should actually do. I probably want to do this. This makes more sense. Ken's here. Hey, Ken. I think for right now, my primary focus is going to be on c.style background color. So I think the first thing I'm going to make is just you're trying to keep the plants alive. And then later we're going to go back through it and we're going to add some more functionality. Gonna get food. Do you want anything? Maybe bring me one of my tunas. Actually, I'm starting to get a cramp in my hand due to this string thing. I think the liquid bandit is it's holding pretty well. It actually, yeah, no, it's holding. Here, if you guys want to be disgusted a little bit, I love you. I love you, Ken. But if you guys want to be disgusted a little bit, here's what I'm saying. See, like I'm not gonna go bam, but you know, like with like basic hand motions, it's holding pretty well. One bottle down. I'm not feeling really tipsy. Maybe a little bit, just a little itty bit. We're going to adjust the health of each plant that we go through. We're actually going to go in reverse then to actually make this work properly. Because if we remove a plant, we want to make sure we're not affecting previous plants. I hope that syntax is proper. Okay, so if this is the case, then crops I 3 dot remove. Okay, maybe I'm going too far. It definitely hurts a little more when I'm typing like this. I think I can only type with like 3 fingers. It's really frustrating. Crops I 3 remove, and then crops dot splice I, 1. Crops dot I 3 dot style dot back color equals RGB plus 255 times crop side 2. The bigger the number, be 100 minus this. Over 100 plus comma plus comma 0 0. And the main difference between these two lines is going to be, we're going to remove this segment right here. And with that all said and done, let's see if this works. I did a lot of typing. We have a code. Line 39. You know, I've been too lucky if I actually got it first try right. I actually get it first try a lot, I feel like. More than I really have any right to. Why is it complaining about this? I feel like I might be doing Python instead of JavaScript. Wait, is push JavaScript? Is it first or last element? It's the last element. Okay. It returns the new length of the array. Why don't I just do L equals this, and I just do L minus 1. This actually might be the best way to do this, if I'm right about how this is working. Oh. Okay, so we have these little things, and they, well, don't know why that guy is somehow staying alive. But for the most part, we can see that they are decaying. Now what I want to do is whenever I go over them, I keep them alive. I water the plants. Why is it avoiding 1? Oh, greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so now what we're going to do is going back to my code, we're going to make it so that if we're going to under if statement, if I is greater than x plus 10. Oh, ow, oh. My instinct to press shift my pinky really hurt me there. That's why I tied it up earlier. I should not have been dumb and untied it. I can't trust my fingers. You know what? I'm gonna just like do this weird little tied knot thing. Ay, ay, ay. I need tape or something. Like duct tape would be nice. Not really, but it is what it is. And if it's greater than x plus 10, or it's less than x minus 10, and repeat this. One y, 1y, And if we do this, theoretically speaking, it should just work. Let's look at the code and see what's going on, because it is not working. I don't see any obvious bugs. It's probably a logical issue then. If crops I0, if X, oh wait, it's reversed. Less than, greater than. Leadamir Wolf says, I don't have Notepad, but text edit when I have free time, I'll try a script. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, like honestly, coding isn't, I think if there's one thing anybody should take away from my stream, one thing, it's that you don't need something crazy to code. Oh no, I lost plant. Honestly, we could do something where instead of it being like that, we can make it so that if we're over it, it'll heal the plant. In a way, that's kind of a cool little visual, I'd say. Equals crops I2 plus 2. So we can do this. In fact, actually, let's do it this way. Okay, so it isn't actually healing the plants anymore. Oh, wait. That's why. I mean, obviously, this isn't a good game yet. It definitely is lacking in that department. But it's so cool, like, being able to, like, create something like this. Anytime I'm at a place to learn, I learn it faster than they teach me. Like they code, like with coding a game, you are the pace I need for coding. Well, yeah, no, that's why are you? What's this guy doing? Look at this guy. He's immortal. That's not okay. I don't know how I broke that guy. He refuses to die. It kind of has a weird little pause. Oh, it's because it's not capped. Okay, I can fix that. I'm gonna add like an else if. I'll probably do crops. I2 equals min math dot min that should fix it. If I don't need to take another 5 hours extra, then I won't. I'm simple. I don't think that's like a simple mindset. I think that's like a realistic mindset. Because, I mean, in the real world... Oh. In the real world, you're not going to be able to have people waiting for you for ages to get something done. And quite frankly, it's not really worth your time. Like a lot of times, like the things that I don't do in coding, like stuff like React and everything else, like I've learned them and obviously they're useful in the industry. But the main reason why it took me so long to get used to them is because the getting to minimal viable product, like something that I actually care about, with something like React is like infinitely longer, not infinitely, but significantly longer than getting to minimal viable product with like basic HTML. Thank you. 1 second. I'm back. I've got my food. I have these little tuna salads in like a lettuce container thing. That's really good. This is a very, very basic thing, but so satisfying. But yeah. So I think if I wanted to really improve this game as is, what I'd probably do is maybe like add like a challenge, like a goal. Like, hey, you gotta harvest X amount of plants. Like maybe the thing is you need to get a certain amount of plants to perfection. Maybe there's like weeds that you gotta take out of the plants. And maybe like between rounds there's like upgrades, and if your farm gets too far in debt, then you lose the game or something. I don't know. I think okay. So let's go back to this tomorrow. Tomorrow I will make bussin' food. Yeah. Let's like chill for a little bit. I don't want. I'm gonna relax. Maybe like finish one more bottle. And tomorrow, let's have a longer stream. I'm just like I don't want to hurt myself more. I feel like I should let myself heal just a little bit. I cannot open this for some reason. I've been streaming a little bit shorter recently. Maybe I should just keep going. If it was the hand thing, if it was just me, I would just wrap it with a paper towel and just be like, okay, done. No, the issue is whenever I code quickly, my pinky keeps like pulling at the liquid bandage and it hurts real bad. Like with the rope, it's like less, but it still like hurts when I like fold my fingers. Let's like add a math, add bounds on the player motion. This way, so with A, we can do X, and because this is a maximum type thing, we max Y or X minus 1 is 0. And then we can do the same thing here, Y minus 1, 0, max. And then X plus 1, 90. And now, theoretically speaking, I should be blocking my user from going too far. Let's try running it. Yeah. So now my user cannot get out of this. Whoop. Oh, that's because the way I'm doing it, it's the entire screen is operating within a square that is centered, not centered, but is squished to the left hand most bottommost corner. Honestly, why don't I just like play all my old games? Kind of feeling that right now. Let's look at some of the games I've made. So we were working on a rhythm game for a while. Wait, how did I make this work? I don't know how. Oh, maybe I should have put instructions. I didn't. This. Oh wait. There we go. I don't know. Like, I really should have continued working on this project. It was actually a whole lot of fun when I first started working on it. Oh boy, I'm pretty close to death right here. Oh, I'm dead. 94 points though. Honestly, this game had a lot of promise. I don't know why. I really should have continued working on it. There was so much more I had to do to make it proper, but for a hackathon, I did pretty good on this one. I don't have a working run of my first game that we did on stream. Not anymore. I think I removed it, or I was working on changing it or making it better. I don't know what all these projects I've done. This is rhythm. Okay. There's test. What is test? Oh, this is the little project I did on stream where it was like making a trampoline and like double jumping. Well, earlier we were coding bots for a stream. I took a break from that because I wasn't feeling good. My finger was kind of acting up and the motivation dropped. Oh, welcome to the stream, Chris. I can show you the bot I was working on though, because we did get a lot of we got some work done on it today in the first hour. So this is the bot we were working on initially. Let me run it really fast. And let's connect to it real fast. So with this bot, I can connect to my Twitch and then, not this one, I can connect to the chat and get all my viewers as little people that walk around and act up. And what I was working on today was I was working on getting... Oh my god, there's a lot of people on Twitch right now. I was working on making it so that there were text commands as well, so you can start manipulating the bots. So if I do connect, let's go back to bot. If we go back to the code. Oh, okay, my code broke. What happened? Why is it? Okay, I forgot to update that thing. Let me fix it right now, actually, while I'm looking at it. Where is my thingamabobber? Set interval. The issue is the sample message that they had. Oh, I think this is the issue here. I could probably just delete this entire thing. Yeah. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm looking at. Let me just show you guys. So, honestly, I'm just deleting this entire section. There's a better way of doing this. Let's do it visually. X, and then we'll save this. We run it, and then let's go back to the web page. Connect, bot. Yeah, so I have a degree in computer science and also a degree in mathematics, both from OSU. Did I break the bot again? I swear I just fixed this. What? Line 172. I will say I'm not sure if I'm the best. Okay, I can teach you basic stuff you need. Oh. I guess if your question is how to program more, you have a few generic questions? Yeah, what are your questions? I can't promise I can answer them, but I can try. Okay, I think... Okay. I think it's working better now. In terms, you guys can't see what I'm seeing right now. I was just testing the messaging thing. So put a message from Twitch, a little test message. You can see that my server here has received the message. Okay, so the thing about it is you can loop however many times you want, and there will be times when you have to do it. Like there will be times when there's really nothing you can do because you have to do some kind of data manipulation, or you have to do something more complicated where you need to like have multiple, like a lot of loops within each other. Like you'll see in my code that a lot of times, especially initial prototypes, I have a bunch of loops, kind of like a lot of loops like that. But the issue is with doing that isn't particularly with the complexity of the code. The issue is with something called space and time complexity. Have you ever heard of space and time complexity? Is that a concept you're familiar with, or would you like me to explain it to you? Here, I'll just explain it. So you can think of your computer as a little guy. And this little guy will do whatever you ask him to do, but exactly what you ask him to do. And he will only do one thing at a time. So let's say I ask him to look through 5 papers. He will look at paper number 1, then look at paper number 2, then look at paper number 3, and look at paper number 4, and look at paper number 5. And we can say essentially that let's say the amount of time that he takes to look at a piece of paper is constant. So it takes him C amount of time to look at this piece of paper. Now, how long would it take him to look at, let's say, ... n amounts of pieces of paper? Well, it'll take him n times c pieces of paper, or n times c is going to be the amount of time it takes. And because really the only number here, like if I take the derivative of this, or if I'm looking at this, and really the only part here that's really increases or changes is this n part based on how many pieces of paper I have. C is a constant, stays the same. You can ignore really c, and then you just take n, and that's your complexity. It's O of n. So the time complexity of little guy going through n pieces of paper, you can call this a loop, is O of n. Now, let's say that instead of him just going through a piece of paper and he is, instead of him just going through them once, let's say I go through them once every time for each piece of paper. So at paper 1, I then go through all of them. So, and then at paper 2, I go through all of them again, etc. Then, for paper 1, we'll be having a time complexity of NC, and then for paper 2, it'll be NC again, paper 3, NC, ... Basically, because we're looping through all the papers every time we loop through a single paper, now we have N times NC. N squared C, we can get rid of C. This is the time complexity of N squared. And so on. So basically you can, I'm kind of simplifying here. I forget actually exactly. There's a computation that you need to do. Basically, you're trying to find, it's a limit, and you're trying to, the explanations are more complicated. But for the most part, you'll end up with a formula, like let's say n squared plus n factorial plus log n plus c, and you're going to chop off everything but the biggest term. So let's say it's n factorial. N factorial is the biggest one in this case. And where this really becomes a problem is when you have really, really big sets of data. So obviously, like if I have like one piece of data, like one thing, I'm just doing one thing, then it doesn't really matter how much time, what was our time complexity, because I'm just doing one thing. Like it will never, if n is equal to 1, it's whatever. But what if n is equal to 1,000,000? What if n is equal to 1,000,000,000? Like what if we really, really up what n is? At that point, it really matters exactly what is this, how our program scales. And the time complexity tells us how our program scales. And usually what you'll find is like a time complexity of n factorial is the worst. Usually like n to the power 3 is worse than, or n power squared and n1. And then you have log of n is really good. If you can get like, that's what, for instance, a merge sort is. Or like n log n is between n and n squared. Basically, whatever, you have this hierarchy. And the reason why like having 3 loops, a loop within a loop within a loop, is bad is because that's n power 3. If you can get it down to n squared, that's better. If you can get it down to n1, that's even better. So usually when you're coding, especially when you're optimizing your code, you're trying to get it faster and faster. Now, when I said earlier, when I was saying space and time complexity, is, so right now we're talking about time complexity. Well, again, it's good. You can use however many loops you like. It's your code. No one's forcing you to write code in a certain way. But it's usually good practice to try to optimize your code. So at least learn the basics of it and learn how to apply like algorithms and stuff to like help speed up. And because I mean, let's say you have a lot of data. Yeah, so again, like if you have like 5 things and you're looping through them like 3 times, then, it doesn't matter. Your computer can calculate that in a second. But again, it's still just, at least, even if you, in your own projects, you don't ever follow this guide. Again, I have projects where I, do crazy stuff. At least be aware of them and be aware of how you can optimize your code. And usually how you optimize it is find better algorithms to write your code. Now, to finish the explanations, kind of like really cover all my bases, the other thing that you can ask your little guy to do is, so instead of him just, the main thing that he has to deal with is time, instead of it just being like how long does it take him to do this big task, another thing you can say is, this little guy, he can store data. He has little post-it notes. We'll describe it like that. And he can store data that is important to him throughout the thing. Okay, I'll answer your question in a second. But let's finish the discussion about space complexity. So space complexity is how many posted notes does our guy need for this amount of data. And usually what you can do is there are algorithms where you sacrifice space, you have worse space complexity, but you have better time complexity and vice versa. Usually there's a trade-off. Here's where we normally talk about, I forget the name of it, but there are algorithms where you're basically going to store a lot of data to save time. But again, the issue is, so like, let's say I have a computer that has a lot of memory, but is really slow. Then I really want to optimize it to be more on the side of space complexity. But let's say I have a computer that has no memory, but runs really, really fast. Or just, let's say I have a computer where memory is fallible. At that point, it's a better idea to have an algorithm with worse time complexity. Because like if time isn't an issue and space is an issue, then you have to sacrifice all time. You got to have as little space complexity as possible and maximize time complexity. And it's also, I mean, this is like a deeper topic, but this kind of discussion happens a lot, especially when you're talking about stuff like light or heavy applications. Like when you have a server and you have a client's computer, how much stuff are you doing on your server? How much stuff are you doing on the client? How much data are you sending between the client and the server? And there's a lot of questions that happen because of this. And a lot of like, you got to be very, very specific to the problem. Okay, you also asked me, is it perfectly fine to make your own algorithms? Well, I mean, by definition, you are making your own algorithm. Like whenever you have a problem, you're making your own solution for it. Like anything you do, like any way you solve a problem is still an algorithm. An algorithm is just like a very generic term for it. However, there are existing algorithms that you can apply to your problem that are going to act in a better way. Like for instance, you can think about it this way. So you can sort an array in a certain way. And like a very, very simple sort is, hey, is this smaller than this? Yes, it stays here. Is it smaller than this? Yes, it stays here. Is it smaller than this? Yes, it stays here. And you do the same thing for all this thing. And this gives you n squared complexity. And that is, I'm saying this really quickly, so if you're not following, that's fine. I'm just trying to explain the concept. But there's other algorithms where instead of doing it that way, like merge sort, where you split this into pieces and then you recombine the groups, that has like, I think it's n log n complexity. And when you have when you have something like this, where you, I mean, it might not seem like a lot, but n log n is better than n squared. And when you have like a huge sort algorithm, it'll make a lot more sense for you to do it this way, especially when you're doing sorting a lot. And also another thing is, like the most ideal time complexity that you can possibly get is what is called constant time, which is, you write it as O1. And let's say that I want to find the smallest, so I have all these pieces of paper, right? And I want to find the smallest one, the smallest piece of paper. So I have like 1, 3, 5, 4, and 2. And I want to basically get 1 back. Well, the way we do that is we do 1, then this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. We go through all of them and we get the smallest one. And in this situation, the best time complexity is we go through every single paper, we compare it to 1, and we'll have space complexity of 1, and we'll have time complexity of n. But let's say that I know that this array is sorted. Let's say that I already know that. Now, all I gotta do is I take the first one. It's already sorted. So the smallest one is this one. We know that. Now we have time complexity of 1 and space complexity of 1. There's really nothing. It just, you immediately get the answer. And that's kind of where this all kind of comes down to is, like you want to basically find tricks. And that's when I'm saying learning algorithms, it is mainly just learning tricks to make your algorithms more efficient. To make your solutions not use up compute. When I say compute, I mean like just the time complexity, and not use up like memory. Does it all make sense? I'm kind of running through a lot of concepts right now, really, really fast. And one thing I will say, just to kind of finish this, is I would learn, at least in the beginning when you're kind of learning these algorithms, learn how to compute time complexity. And actually, when you're coding something, ask yourself, am I doing this in the most efficient way? Can I make the time complexity better? Can I make the space complexity better? Is there a way where I can have worse space complexity, but I will solve the time complexity problem? And a lot of times, like nowadays, people will like, there's a lot of scientists and mathematicians who are trying to find mathematically perfect algorithms, like ones that like have like reached perfect limits of like what is considered the best possible time complexity and space complexity. But yeah, so Crow said, thanks for taking the time to explain it. Yes, it makes a lot of sense to me. But yeah, and a lot of times when we're talking about like, just to kind of finish this discussion a little bit, but when we're like looking at games, for instance, I will say I have been actively telling people not to use the first thing because I haven't really linked it up to anything. So I feel like, I mean, you are first to use the command. So welcome back, Laminage. I was just talking to Cruz over on YouTube about space and time complexity and algorithms. Okay, so what is important? So, okay. It really depends on what you want to do, Cruz. Like, for topics, it really depends on like what is your end goal with coding, with software, with all of this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you should know about, and it depends on like what field you're going into. Like, for instance, space, like optimizations and complexity and so on, and like understanding these topics. It's really good if you're doing stuff like optimizations in game development or with like traversing big data sets, like such as like if we're talking about AI or if we're talking about like just data sets in general, where you have like a company and you're trying to like find trends and so on. So like a database management, everything, like all this kind of stuff is where you would benefit from it. But also, I will say, I'm pretty sure if I talk to like people who have been in the industry for a while and like just like do run-of-the-mill coding, a lot of them probably don't care or don't know about this stuff, or not don't know, but they've forgotten about this stuff because it's not really a day-to-day thing. In the same way, like I could say, hey, I think it's really good for you to learn the basics of how the internet works and how packages work. But if you never use the internet, or you're never like looking at the various like levels of like how you send data over connections and so on, and you're just like using the very bare bones of it, then it's not gonna be useful to you. I think for the most part, like if you're trying to get hired, then learning algorithms and stuff is critical. Because a lot of hiring managers, what they'll do is they'll sit you down and they'll ask you, hey, can you write me an algorithm like in this language really quickly and explain why the algorithm is efficient? And okay, so if your goal is to make a video game, then there's a lot of stuff that you could do to like better your chances of like so if you're making a video game, there's a lot of stuff you can do to like improve your own expertise in video game making. But honestly, like my advice for most software, and especially for just in general the field as a whole, is just do it. That sounds a little bit crass, but the thing is, there is nothing stopping you. Like there's usually nothing stopping you. So maybe for some fields, is you know, like if you're doing stuff where like maybe like you need high compute or something like that, maybe there you'll find some stuff that gets in your way. But just do it and start small and end big. Like try to don't overextend. Don't be like, hey, I want to make the next open world adventure, etc. Like don't go too big and like burn yourself out too quickly, especially if you're just beginning. Start small, but just do it. Like pick it up and say like, hey, I want to learn how to do making a game in Unity, and find a tutorial and do the tutorial. Or if you have like an idea for a game, make a prototype. Like if it's not even a big game, if it's a really simple game, make the game. Just literally like, and what you'll do is when you're doing this, like developing and so on, you'll just you'll hit a wall. Like you'll start coding in Unity, Unreal, or if you're like me in JavaScript, and you're gonna hit a wall and be like, oh, this isn't working, or hey, I have a huge bug, or hey, I don't understand how to do this. And what you'll do is you'll find other people, or you'll find resources online like Stack Overflow, or you know, you'll learn debugging online, or you'll learn these tools, and you'll break down that wall, and that is how you'll learn. You'll learn by breaking down the walls in front of you. And you'll keep going, go harder and harder until you get everything. Limonage over on Twitch is saying that he would recommend Unity, but if you want to go for a no-code route or blueprint route, then Unreal is where it's at. As for browser game, JavaScript is way, yeah. I'm okay, well, so the thing is, when it comes to game, okay, so there's like several things I could say about this in terms of game development. Is, well, first of all, I'm a little bit biased about this, but I would look, well, again, it depends on what kind of game you want to make. Obviously, if you want to do stuff in like 3D and so on, you definitely want to start with a game engine, because you're gonna hit the wall much quicker with if you're doing browser based and so on, like the way I'm doing it. But what I would recommend, the first thing I would recommend doing is learning game development. And that's a weird thing to say, because I know that the initial tendency for game development is to just, you know, run, like have a huge idea and then you pursue this big idea for years. But I think it's more important to really understand why people play games and how people interact with games. So I would look into like game design, game theory. I would play games critically. I think a really important thing about this is you're going, like, what you really want to do is you want to play a game and you want to ask yourself, how would I make this myself? Or if you don't know how a game did something, you want to learn. You want to really Like if you're playing, like let's say you're playing Mario, like Super Mario, and you're like, oh, I wonder how they handled wall collisions. I would recommend like playing games like, let's say like, I don't know, I'm giving Mario as an example, but like, let's say we're playing Mario and you're like, oh, how did they make this work? And like, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to essentially try to do it yourself. And if you fail, or if you struggle, or if you just want to know how did they do it, you're going to do it again, or you're going to research how did they do it, and you're going to implement it yourself. And you're going to want to do that a lot. You're going to want to like look into game theory. You're going to want to look at other games. You're going to want to look at how they handle stuff. How did they make it fun? Like you got to really analyze games like these very, very closely. So for instance, sound design. Sound design is important. Like how do they make the sound catchy, or how does it keep the player interested? Like maybe the sound of the coins, like the jingle of the coins, is a way how the game keeps your attention focused, or like rewards behavior. Like you want to pay attention, like how does the ambience of a room add to the mood, add to the mystique of a game. So you're going to want to first be a critic before anything else. You're going to want to essentially not just play games, but you're going to want to critique games. And so you're saying two topics I've been looking into is code routine management and bid masking. That's about as complex as I get. I'm by no means good at it. Yeah, I mean, bid masking is cool. Code routine management, that's useful. Okay, I will say, Lime, I think you're thinking about it more from like a very, very like how like just starting the game design process. But I think it's more important. Like I think that's a valid way of looking at it. I think that's the way a lot of people might look at game development. But I think if we're talking about people who are like just starting out with this or looking for guidance, I think it's more critical that they first learn the basics, and they first like I think it's before you write a single line of code, you should know what you're trying to do. Because I think the worst thing to do is start coding without knowing what you're coding. Like whenever you see me code, or like whenever I write like 50 lines of code straight and I'm doing crazy stuff, I always code with a goal. I think where I hit a wall the most, or where I struggle the most, is when I start coding and I don't really know what I'm trying to do. Or I'm kind of like lost, or I don't really have a plan. And the best way to have a plan is to see how, is to be inspired and to learn from other games. So I think it's more critical. And the thing is, if you want to make a 3D game or a 2D game, you're going to want to learn how do they handle physics? How do they handle collisions? Like what are common problems that these games suffer? Like what are glitches? What are where do you see optimization problems? And you're going to want to look at those things. And you're going to want to look at how they solve them, or how do they handle them. And then you're going to want to do it yourself. Like I think that is the most important thing, is to first learn about games. And then once you like understand, and the thing is also, you don't have to start with coding games. I think honestly, make games that are not even code based. Make card games, make physical games, or just like make games that you like play in certain ways, and learn how players interact with game worlds or game systems. Like start making games and start talking about games and find people who are interested in games. I think you're gonna want to start. Game development is a long and lonely road a lot of times, and you're gonna want to start making the road less lonely early. And also you're going to want to start getting into the habits of a game developer early. You're gonna want to start thinking about games. You're gonna want to start making a game mechanic and like showing it to a buddy, or quickly coding out a prototype and showing it to a buddy. You're gonna get into that headspace. And again, it's all it. Once you start doing it, like, and start like learning about other games and start coding other games, then you can start doing your own thing. And like, hey, I know how to make a top-down game. Now let me make my prototype with this mechanic. And you make a prototype, you test it out, it works, you show it to your buddy's really excited, and then now you're on the route to making a full-fledged game. And I think once you get the, like, I think it is also important to pick, like as Limonage said earlier, it is important to pick languages, learn languages. So like the big programming languages in game development are like C# and C++. The big game engines are Unity and Unreal. If you're making 3D games, Blender is really critical. If you're making 2D games, learning how to use like art apps like Adobe Illustrator, or if you don't want to pay for it, you can use like free art programs. Or if you're doing pixel art, I recommend Piskel or Sprite. In terms of, so Limonage also said look up theory and game, like how vectors work and stuff. Again, I think it really comes down to what you want to do and what mechanics you want to create and just how you want it all to work. I feel like you could, I mean, like, again, you could learn all you want about vectors and stuff like that. But then if you, like, I haven't touched, like, okay, I'm kind of working in vectors, but I haven't really used a proper vector or like C# in like years, not years, a year. And I'm making games, and maybe they're not really the prettiest games or the coolest games. Maybe they're not games that have fully released or anything, but they work. And I think also one of the main, this is just my perspective, and I think this is where me and Limonage might have a difference of opinion. But personally, I think that tutorials aren't great. Or like, I think theory is really important, but I think it's really hard to learn theory in and of itself. Like, I think it's like a really, really frustrating process, because sometimes you'll get it immediately and it's really nice, but sometimes theory just confuses you because it is out of context. Like, theory is super useful because it has context to back it up, but oftentimes we kind of separate the theory from the actual context. And when you're doing tutorials and stuff, they're primarily trying to force you with the theory, and while they're showing you the way how to do stuff, quite often they're not really like, you lose the agency that you need to actually do stuff yourself and to experiment. Like, I'd honestly, like, I'd recommend learn the very basics and start playing around with them. Like, you can do so much with like 5 variables, a couple if statements, a loop, and some bare bones input output. You could honestly do a whole lot with nearly nothing. But yeah, I mean, that was a longish rant. I think unironically, the hardest part about game development is more of a motivation and like time management problem. I think anyone with the proper motivation and the right amount of time and resources can make a good video game. I think you could, if I gave someone like a decade and that they were really really driven and they started with literally nothing, I think they can come with up with like an awesome game that like probably like rivals, some of the bigger games nowadays. Maybe not a AAA game, but or like what used to be AAA games. But I feel like, I mean, think about Stardew Valley. That was a single developer, and while he may have had experience before, you know, he created this nice, huge game from the ground up with his own two hands. But yeah, no, I hope all of this was helpful. It's really hard because also when I'm trying to help people learn how to develop, I fully understand that people are in different spots in life when it comes to development. It's really hard to like deliver personalized advice if we didn't have like a one-on-one chat for like 5 hours. And even then I probably wouldn't really know your full situation. And it would like, I mean, I was lucky that I went through school for computer science and I learned a bunch of stuff there. And that was really helpful. And like, I will say back then, maybe some things seemed kind of useless to me, but now in retrospect, now I'm like, oh, all of that stuff actually really, really, really was critical in retrospect. But yeah. So okay, I will say, so my dream, I don't think, while it would be nice to have one big game that like does awesome and I retire off of that one big game. Um, I think what I would like to do is I'd like to get to the point in life. It would be nice to get to the point in life where I can, excuse me, where I can make cool stuff for people and basically create interesting stuff that I want to work on and make money off of it. Like, I don't think my goal is to have like the biggest game ever released or the most awesomest game. Again, it will be nice if I get there, like if I have a game that's worthy of that kind of praise. But I think my actual goal is more like I'd like to mess around, make small games. Like I'd like to get to the point in life where I could maybe do a game jam every week and live off of it. Like if I could go to a game jam and I'd make a game in like 24 hours, um, post some videos, send a game out, people play the game, maybe work on a little bit more outside of it, and then move on, and then keep making more and more games and keep doing that. I would love to get to the point where I could make a living off of that, and I could just every single week make something fun and new and interesting. That's like my personal aspirations. I don't know how reasonable it is. I mean, I think if eventually I get big enough on YouTube, Twitch, etc., and like I get my audience that follows me, and like once if I can find my audience, if I can do this right, I think it's a possibility. But it really kind of comes down to, can I find the audience that I need to be able to make the stuff I want to make? Yeah. No, I think you and I see eye to eye in terms of like this kind of stuff we want to do. Honestly, I think a lot of developers kind of see eye to eye with what I'm talking about. Because like if you love to code, really the dream is to be able to code freely and without worrying about the bills. That's kind of the thing. I hope so. We definitely have a long way to go. And today I definitely was a bit lazy and did not do a whole lot of work. I mean, I did an hour of work. We got the chat thing working. You know, could have done more. Could have done a whole lot more. But yeah, not sure if you caught it, but I'm injured, and I can barely type, and I've been drinking alcohol all night long. This was definitely like a not a stream for being super productive. And honestly, I did a little bit of cool stuff in the time I was non-productive. You know? I can't say that I haven't done my part today. Oh no. I legit, if people were not, if there was no one on stream and I was alone, I probably would have called it like 2 hours ago. I'm being completely honest. Like the fact that you and Lita Memerwolf and Limonage and Piplup and everybody joins the stream and kind of motivates me. Without you guys, I probably would have just, yep, it's that kind of night. Let's call it. Let's go to bed. Well, I'll pick up where I left off in the morning. Oh, and about my hand. It's probably like the fourth time I've said this tonight, but I cut it open today with a piece of sheet metal while I was at work. And basically, like on my finger, it's just you can't really see it too well, but it's pretty badly cut. Let me see if I can actually show. It's like pretty. Let me see if I can take off these. I've tied shoelace around my fingers to keep it from like opening up the wound again. But like, I put a liquid bandage over it, so. No, I don't work with machinery. I got a new job and working in a hardware store. And day one, I lost into floor one. That's pretty much the long and short of it. I used to work with machinery when I was a kid. I was in the robotics team. I was actually hardware, not software, which I think that kind of explains a lot about how I act. But yeah, it isn't pleasant, and it definitely makes coding unpleasant as well. Again, if it wasn't for you guys, I would have definitely just been like again, an hour and a half in, gotten the chat working. I would have been like, you know what? We got the chat working. Everyone's asleep. I'm calling it. We'll get back to it tomorrow. You got a job recently as well? That's good to hear. Oh. I was just looking at my numbers. But yeah. Not my greatest day for like coding. I think what's gonna happen is like tonight it's gonna be pretty bad. I'll put some liquid bandage on tomorrow. Hopefully it kind of like fuses the skin a little bit together. And then like I have a couple days off, and hopefully I heal up in that time. So I will say I'm probably gonna I can't even talk anymore. I'm probably gonna start calling it in just a little bit, but I did want to say that tomorrow the plan is I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna do a lot of stuff outside of stream too. Tomorrow's gonna be like a big day for just me getting things done. But I think I'm gonna stream for a lot longer tomorrow. And I'm gonna sit down, we're gonna have a list of to-dos, and we're gonna knock that list out of the park. That's the plan. I think it's doable. I'm also fully aware that every time I make a plan, stuff goes horribly wrong, and then things become very undoable. But I'm very fairly confident. Ay. Man, I'm tired. I was going to finish drinking this can of soda. I'm fairly confident that tomorrow I can set aside, let's say, like 6 hours, and we can get like I think as if I get the YouTube API BS done and the Discord API stuff out of the way before the stream, in 6 hours I can get something really, really nice on stream. That would be excellent. But yeah, that's the plan for tomorrow. I'm still gonna like stay a little bit longer tonight. So Crows is saying, thank you. Do I any chance like play video? I like playing video games. I just haven't really found the motive. I do play video games outside of stream. Like I genuinely play like Wild Rift, TFT, stuff like that. Stuff which is like, I think the games that I play nowadays are games that take up the least amount of time and the least amount of effort, and are usually like when I'm like in like periods of time when I wouldn't do anything otherwise, I play games. And yeah, like mobile games and games that like are like half an hour in out and are like kind of self-contained. Those are the kind of games that I enjoy playing. But I don't really. I used to stream playing games like that for a while, but I think as of recently, it's. I'm just kind of like. I'd rather honestly like I feel like even the game the little I play of TFT and Wild Rift, it like I feel like I would benefit from spending that time making clips for TikTok for my stream, or making posts for Ko-Fi, or just in general like doing stuff to like push my projects, because like I love games, but I feel like I don't have the luxury to enjoy them. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's kind of the way how I see it recently. said you have a couple mobile games recognition, one which is really lightweight, kind of like a group game. You can actually play together if you want. Haha. Maybe. Again, like I feel like as of right now, I'm not really a huge. I haven't been playing a whole lot of games in general, so I can't really. I can't promise anything. For those who are watching the stream, for those who are new to the stream, if you guys want to talk about games or like find people to play games with, or just in general, like make games and like compete in challenges and so on, and like just be more of a part of the community, like want this community I'm trying to build of like weird game developers. My Discord is in the YouTube and Twitch descriptions. You can join it, and it's a great place. I've been actually starting to add in more content for you guys to work with, for you guys to make your own stuff, and for you guys to like see my stuff and work with my stuff. So I would greatly recommend joining that if you're interested in like game development, software, art, music, etc., etc., etc. I'd recommend joining that. Kind of self-pluggy, but that's kind of the point. I think I need to call it tonight, though. I'm already getting a bit lightheaded. It's been a long day, and tomorrow's gonna be a longer day. And tomorrow we're gonna actually do a lot more. I'm gonna start earlier. I'll put a post in the Discord. Speaking of the Discord, I'll put a post in the Discord, letting you guys know what time I'll be streaming at tomorrow, and we'll get a lot more done. But yeah, so Cruz says no pressure. He's going to have moments sometimes. So check out. It'll be fun with you. It's called Wavelength. Yeah, no. Again, just join the Discord. Again, I'm not sure if I can play, but I'm sure you'll find other people in the community who probably have time or be interested in playing. And if I ever get a chance to, maybe we can play it, or even on stream, we can like bring some people together and play some games. I think that'll come later, though. I really do want to focus more on the software side of my things for right now. But yeah, anyways, thanks everyone for joining in. Thanks for hanging out. Lee, the Mirror Wolf, Cruz, Limonage, Piplub. Anyone else I'm forgetting? I feel like I might be forgetting somebody. Well, if there's anybody else, I'm sorry for forgetting. But guys are awesome. I'll see you guys all tomorrow, and maybe tomorrow actually. Maybe I'll work on maybe I'll work on the bot. Maybe we'll do a contest. I'll actually make that be I'll pull that on Discord tonight. Vote on it. Actually, I'll do it right now. Right now, if you guys want to, I will put a poll in the Discord for you guys to vote on about whether we're going to do a contest tomorrow. Quick poll. What would... Oh, God. My finger. What would you like tomorrow? What would you like me to stream tomorrow? Okay. Quick poll. What would you like me to stream tomorrow? Option 1. More bot dev. Option 2. Option 3, random game jam. Option 3, contest. And I'll probably have a follow-up post as well tomorrow based on the response. But yeah, the poll is up. Vote to let me know what you guys would like me to do tomorrow. Again, it's in the Discord if you haven't already found it. And have a great night. You guys are all awesome. I hope you guys all enjoyed the content today. I'm sorry that everything is happening on that I'm in dire straits in the middle of it, but yeah, no, have a great one, everybody. You guys are all awesome. I really appreciate all of you. And I really hope to see you tomorrow and in general. Bye-bye.